to have him let him make a play for us. So I think that's the biggest difference from yesterday and today is that we were able to make plays, in the passing game. I think the running game is also going to be one of our standpoints. I think today we averaged probably like 5 to 6 yards a pop every time we hand it off to the backs. And I just think the O-line just brought the physicality even more to what they did yesterday.
Veteran running back Matt Breida has told ESPN sources he plans to retire after 7 seasons, Jeremy Fowler reports. Breida is 30 and finished with 2,652 rushing yards and 9 rushing touchdowns in 98 games for the San Francisco 49ers, Miami Dolphins, Buffalo Bills, and New York Giants. And tune in tonight on 94.9 The Fan as the Sounds continue their road series in Durham against the Bulls, AAA affiliate of the Tampa Bay Rays. Pre-game at 5:20 and first pitch at 5:35. For the Game Nashville Sports Network, I'm Connor Newt.
For more, log on to theGameNashville.com. Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. It's the George Plaster Show, featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famers Kelly Holcomb and young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome. It is a beautiful Thursday afternoon. Let's be honest. It's hotter than the blazes out here. We are at Middle Tennessee Christian. We do this every year through our buddy Josh Houston. And you'll hear from time to time in the background some buzz. They are installing right now their brand new artificial turf package. And so they're I guess doing the final stuff. I don't pretend to know everything that goes on, but you look around the mid-state, and now it's probably way more than 50% of the schools that have artificial turf. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, between it already being hot out here, the turf right next to us, and the lights also on, it's a little hot.
Yeah, the lights on is the part that that creates quite a bit of it.
But this is a nice facility.
Yeah, they've really upgraded in the last few years. So we're excited to be here. We'll hear from their head coach, Christian Peterson, around 4:40 this afternoon. Let's stay in Murfreesboro to say hello to Kelly Holcomb. Kelly, what's shaking?
What's up, George? How y'all doing?
Doing good. Tell me what's happening in your world.
Other than the fact Billy's giving me a new headset, and it's really it's going to be an adjustment for me. He dropped by my house today, and I was reluctant to let him in the gate, but what do you do?
Did you I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. Did you lower yourself to violence?
I did not lower myself to violence, although I thought about it a little bit. And then I asked him, is this going to work? You might need to leave the other headset here, but obviously I've been messing up for, a year or 2 years now, and we're just now getting around to fixing it.
Well, it's not necessarily an easy ride from West Nashville out to the borough. So I figured I'm out
here. We've seen each other since then, Billy. You could have given me all that stuff, and I can hook it up. I'm not a dunce.
You could have met him in Antioch at the Fort Ice Center out there the day he didn't know how to get to Bellevue.
You could have met me out there. I know how to get there good.
So when you were in high school, you played on natural grass.
I did.
I've been to that great stadium. If you had your choice, would you go this stuff or grass?
Grass.
100%. Okay, tell me why.
I don't think you get as many injuries on grass. The grass gives with you. Sometimes you get your foot stuck in the turf, and you can tear a meniscus, you can tear an ACL, you can do all kind of things. You can mess your ankles up. I just am always been a grass guy. And I'll tell you this, George. They did a study in the National Football League, and most of the guys wanted to play on grass. They were doing a study on injuries and things like that, and they found out that injuries happen more on artificial surfaces. Now, it's not the artificial surface when I played, because when I was at Middle, we had an artificial surface that was the AstroTurf, which was in the Houston Astrodome, and it was just laying a piece of carpet over some concrete. So you talking about when you got picked up and slammed? That was awful. So these surfaces are much more safer nowadays. I do like them. And the thing that everybody's doing with them, you can actually make money on those, because you can have all kind of events, and you don't have to, once it's down and once the stripes are on it and everything, you don't have to mess with it anymore. And that's the cool thing, because when you're a head coach, you got to think about paint. You got to think about all the stuff that you got to do. You got to have somebody out there Thursday painting all the fields. So it's I understand why they do it, but in my instance, I just love grass.
Okay, fair enough. It's time now for our daily Titans update. Terry McCormick apparently is back safe and sound. Terry, I'm afraid to ask, how long did it take you to get back?
I rolled back into the big city of Westmoreland around 8 o'clock, so it wasn't too bad.
Mm-hmm. It's better than I thought it would be. So a day later, you've had a little time to evaluate what you saw. I brought up after you left that I had never heard you is down on where the Titans are right now. Talk to me a little bit about that in comparison to what maybe you thought you'd see.
Well, I don't think I'm alone in saying that this team's got a long way to go. You can look at just about any report out there from those of us who were down there in Atlanta, and you're getting a lot of the same type of talk where, plays are not being made. This is a young team. There's lots of mistakes happening. Sometimes it's a little better here. Sometimes it's a little better over there, but there's no consistency and no real energy. The one thing that I worry about with this team, George, is that, we talked about this, if you go to, in baseball, if you go to spring training with the Colorado Rockies, you're penciled in for 95 losses, pretty much before the season ever starts. You wonder if some of the veterans who have been scarred by the last 2 or 3 years with this team are just resigned to the fact that this thing's not going to be very good, despite what might be their best efforts.
Terry, isn't that ultimately where Brian Callahan's message, whatever it may be, is going to have to resonate? And so far, it doesn't feel like it is.
Yeah, I think it does have to resonate. And I think there has to be a way to get through to those guys who lived through the last 2 or 3 years that, hey, this thing is going to get better. Be a part of the solution, not a part of the continuing problem. And how do you get that message across? I don't know. I'll give, Cam Ward credit. He hasn't been through this. He's a wide-eyed rookie in terms of, coming into this thing. But he said yesterday, trying to pump up his guys, and he feels like it can be a top 10 offense. And he's got receivers who are top 5 in the league, in his opinion. Now, that may sound ludicrous and may sound crazy to think that, but you got to appreciate the fact that he's trying to pump a little bit of confidence into these guys that, hey, I'm going to do my best to put you in the right place to make a play. And when I give you that opportunity, you need to make that play. How far that takes them, I don't know, because we've not seen the consistency in this camp that you need to out of this offense.
No, I admire his desire to sort of pick this up past maybe what it is right now. So the word has gotten out that he will play only 2 series tomorrow night against the Falcons. I'll admit I don't understand that, but it is what it is. Who gets the bulk of the work after that? Is it Brandon Allen or the newly acquired Trevor Siemian?
It'll probably be split between the two. I would think that Brandon Allen would probably carry him through halftime, and then maybe a series in the third quarter, and then hand it off to Trevor Siemian, who would finish it up. probably will be split sort of the same way it was last week, with Simeon, of course, assuming the Tim Boyle role, hopefully with fewer interceptions.
Your gut feeling, Simeon ends up the backup or Brandon Allen?
No, Brandon Allen's probably going to stay number 2. Simeon, I think, will be on the practice squad as number 3. Brian Callahan has familiarity and past experience with both of them, but I think, for some reason, he really likes Brandon Allen and what he brings to the quarterback room in terms of knowledge, in terms of, his ability to execute the system, in terms of how it's supposed to be done. The thing that he's short on really is that, he's just hasn't had a whole lot of starts in his career. And, right now I would say his arm strength is a little suspect at times, but I think that's who they would roll with as number 2. And Simeon, coming back to this thing after being here last year, would stay at number 3.
Okay, as we end this, Terry, thank you for some really good work yesterday, trying to navigate Atlanta traffic and trying to navigate our silliness. We'll talk to you again tomorrow, same time, same place.
All right, sounds good.
That is Terry McCormick's Daily Titans Update. We turn it over to young William.
Yes, for today's update. It is brought to you by Football Night in Nashville, our new promotion out at Sports and Social in Green Hills. Join us Thursday, September the 4th, as the Cowboys travel to Philadelphia. So that is the debut of Football Night in Nashville,
where they likely are going to hear the chant EAGLES.
Yeah.
Eagles, Eagles, Eagles.
More than once.
Maybe
you said
at
there were
least
a bunch
twice.
of people in there for the Vikings game before the
Titans
game.
There were. Vikings played, who was it? The Houston Texans. We had a great crowd. You've shown the picture several times. You show it again. And, I think, first of all, it's a great setup for watching football. They have as good a television setup as I've ever seen. It feels like something out of a race and sports book in Vegas. So really good stuff.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah.
We stay in the NFL for the first piece today. Brian Flores back in the news. A civil lawsuit accusing the NFL of discriminating against Brian Flores and other black coaches will stay in court rather than go to arbitration. The Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in Manhattan ruled earlier today. The Federal Appeals Court upheld a ruling initially made by Judge Valerie Caproni in March of 2023, which said 2 teams Flores accused of sham Rooney Rule interviews, the Giants and the Broncos, and one he accused of retaliating against him for filing the lawsuit, will stay in court.
Does he say who that team is?
The Texans.
Really?
Retaliating against him for filing the lawsuit. NFL teams must abide by the Rooney Rule, of course, the league's policy that requires organizations to interview candidates from minority groups for head coach, GM, executive positions.
So, Kelly, think about this. This has been out there now for a long time.
Yeah, I know, and it's just not coming up. I don't know. You hate that. I don't know where it's going, George. And I don't know what all's in it. And I just hate that somebody feels that way. But who knows? Who knows what goes on behind closed doors? I've told y'all that before, and he obviously feels that, so he's going after it.
Film at 11.
Film at 11. Yep.
That's right.
Also in the NFL, Justin Herbert is set to play in a preseason game for the first time ever. He did not play a single snap in the preseason in his first 5 years, but Jim Harbaugh said he will start against the Rams this weekend. Harbaugh also said that he will play a series or two and that all the team's healthy starters other than Khalil Mack and Derwin James will also be playing. But that I ran across this headline. I was like, what?
Wow. When I hear this kind of story, the debate about whether you play your quarterback or not, I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth, because with the Titans, I think Cam Ward needs as many snaps as he can get. I don't think Justin Herbert needs anything. I think he's established himself. But, Kelly, I always think of Trent Green the year that the Rams made it to the Super Bowl against the Titans. Trent Green's injury, which was a season-ending injury, is what opened the door. What's his name? Kurt Warner. Sorry.
I can remember. Yeah, I can remember being in Champaign, Illinois, and you talking about those joint practices. It was the Indianapolis Colts and the St. Louis Rams. We met in Champaign, Illinois, and we practiced together. And I can remember seeing him. He was the fourth quarterback. And I asked Peyton, I was like, who is that guy? And he goes, it's Kurt Warner. He's from like somewhere like northern Iowa or something like that. And then that year, that guy literally took them to the Super Bowl. It's unbelievable the ascension that he made. And I just remember Dick Vermeil in that press conference crying, talking about Trent Green and their season's over. And then they get the fastest show on turf. You know what I'm saying? So it's I don't know. You just never know how things are going to turn out.
Crazy story.
He was bagging groceries, wasn't he?
At one point,
a couple years before,
yeah.
He won the Super Bowl.
He was. Yep.
Also, some unfortunate. Well, this is unfortunate, but disciplinary hearing for Chiefs. Rashee Rice is expected September the 30th in New York. He's likely to be up for the first 4 weeks this season before any potential discipline is imposed for his role in a multi-car crash in Dallas that left multiple people injured a couple of years ago. The Chiefs opened the season against the Chargers in Brazil. Then they play the Eagles, Giants, and Ravens. So not necessarily a bunch of cupcakes to start the season. You'd like to have Rashee Rice in those games. It looks like they may have him.
You know, a year ago, one of their big bugaboos was, ironically, for a team that's had as much success throwing the ball, they kind of ran out of wide receivers at one point.
Yeah.
And so they need all they can get. I'm sure they're monitoring this really close.
Okay, we've also got a couple of college pieces to get to. The NCAA Committee on Infractions' long-awaited ruling in the Michigan scouting scandal will be publicly announced tomorrow. The NCAA is expected to hold a news conference tomorrow afternoon to detail the findings. The NCAA charged Michigan and other staffers with 11 violations concerning a sign-stealing operation overseen by Connor Stallions. So,
yes,
at long last, we're gonna get something, and hopefully this ends this whole deal.
Wow.
So you got that. Also,
should he wear a fake mustache to the press conference?
I want him to wear a Central Michigan hat or a Central Michigan jersey or polo,
something like that. Do you y'all think Harbaugh knew about it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I do. I mean, look, do I think that there's a scenario where staffers may have tried to keep it away from him? That's possible, but at some point, Kelly, there was too much here to believe that Harbaugh didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, I'm on that. I'm on that note too. I think that if it's in your organization, you might try to turn a blind eye, and people might try, because I know that things I've heard over the years that get sheltered from the coach. But when you have something like that going on, you know what's happening.
Yeah, bad stuff.
One more humorous note before we get to Danny Evans after the break. Oklahoma fans can now buy a ticket to post-game press conferences for a little less than $700. Would you pay to sit in the Oklahoma post-game press conference following the Michigan game? Well, it'll cost you $690 if you want to do that. And we're showing on the podcast right now, they're advertising it as you get to hear OU coaches and players address reporters moments after the final whistle. This is going to go smoothly, isn't it?
Good Lord. I mean, this is schools. This is schools looking for every way they can to raise money, and this is what's going on. And you wonder, when those judges that make these court rulings hear this, do they ever say to themselves, "We screwed up"?
I would think so. I
I'm
hope
sure.
they do anyway.
Eventually.
Yeah. You think somebody will pay for that though? Somebody will watch that, which I would rather
That's
sit
right.
here and watch and see if the wall moved than to watch a press conference after a game.
Yeah, they must be pretty confident in what the Sooners are going to do this season if they're if they're selling tickets to
because if it
press.
goes the other way, it could really get interesting.
Oh yeah.
But you've got the
reminds me
you
of
know,
what's the movie? Is it Facing the Giants? Have y'all seen that movie? Kelly, you've seen that, haven't you?
Yes.
It reminds me
Absolutely.
of after his first game, I forget the name of the coach, a fan comes up to him, as he's getting into his car. He said, I forget what he says, but he said, Coach, you better be winning more games than that. You better look better than that, or else you're out of here. So like you could get some of that.
Did the coach say, thank you for your input?
I can't remember.
Probably not. Okay, after the break, Danny Evans is going to join us. We're going to talk about not only baseball's hottest team, but the club that all of us thought would be the hottest team that suddenly is in second place in their division. This is 94.9, The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
A golf cart from Mikey's Motors is the perfect way to get around this summer. Whether you're going to the park, the pool, or the playground, do it in a brand new golf cart from Mikey's Motors, Franklin and Murfreesboro.
Summertime fun in Tennessee. That's what we sell at Mikey's Motors. Come see how we roll.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
We are on this Middle Tennessee Christian And if you hear kind of a zzz in the background, it's the workers putting the finishing touches on the artificial turf surface that has been put down here in the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 days. So that's a little bit of what's going on. Let's talk a little ball with our man, former Dodger general manager Danny Evans, his weekly visit here on the show. Danny, how you doing? You know what? We are alive and kicking. How about that? Oh, wow. That's a little cold. Danny, I guess deep down, I never truly believed that the Padres could catch the Dodgers. The one thing I know watching the Dodgers a So I may have lost Danny there for a minute. So, Danny,
Yeah.
in the end, who wins that division?
The Dodgers. And the Dodgers win it in a close race. But, George, I think they're actually playing better than people realize. I think their bullpen has just been so poor recently, and it's because of all the injuries. Their starters have taken them to points in the game with the lead. A, they're not adding to their lead. And B, their bullpen has coughed up 2, 3 runs in a game pretty regularly, making games either close or blowing saves. I think they're going to be fine. Mookie Betts is swinging the bat really well right now. Ohtani is back to being Ohtani on both sides of the ball. His line last night was not indicative of how well he threw. He had the best stuff he's had all year. His velocity was good. He was throwing curveballs and splitters, which tells me his arm feels good. He gets away from his split when his arm doesn't feel 100%. He threw a 6 or 7 pitch mix out there yesterday, and he was dominant. The great thing, George, this weekend we get to see them play each other at Dodger Stadium. For me, it's the series of the year. They genuinely don't like each other. San Diego really wants to retaliate from last year's debacle of blowing a lead where they could have won the series and eliminated the Dodgers. So I think we're going to see a lot of fun this weekend in Chavez Ravine.
Yeah, it's sort of supplanted Yankees-Red Sox as the nastiest rivalry going. Realistically, from what you know, we got about 45 days until the regular season ends.
Mm-hmm.
Who does LA get back, and who do you think they don't get back?
Well, I have the roster right here, so let me take a look at it. They've got Snell back now. He's throwing really well. Their DL is unbelievable. They'll get Edman back. They'll get Kiki Hernandez back. They'll get Hee-Sung Kim back. So all 3 of their position players will be back. Goslin, no elbow surgery. Kyle Hurt, no. They'll get Sasaki back at some point. They will get Michael Grove potentially back. Kopech on his way back. He's about to start a rehab. And they'll get most likely Tanner Scott, Brock Stewart, and Kirby Yates back. So all they have to do, George, and I've been there with a dinged up team. just got to get to the postseason. They get to the postseason. These guys, they're probably being careful with them for the same reason that we're talking about them, is that they know they don't necessarily need them to get in, but they're going to need them as of the first week of October. If they get 4 or 5 of those Penn arms back, boy, that's a different club. And I really am encouraged watching Ohtani. They could either start him or relieve him, but I think they'll start him, and I think he's going to be a dominant arm in the postseason.
It'll be really interesting to see. I watched him last night, too, and when he hits 101 on the radar gun, you're like, oh, wow, okay. Let's talk Milwaukee Brewers for a minute. They've won 12 in a row. They're the hottest team going right now. They have basically put the Cubs, for the moment, in the rearview mirror. And, Danny, a lot of where they're getting, contributions is straight out of some Nashville Sounds teams of the last couple of years.
You bet. George, great point. They've got 3 of the 4 top National League Rookie of the Year candidates are on their club. I mean, a terrific farm system, which people in the area have seen come through Nashville. Great defense, excellent starting pitching, a lot of depth, a lot of flexibility, and a lot of enthusiasm. And for me, their manager's terrific. I've known Pat Murphy since he was at the University of Notre Dame 35 years ago, and Pat Murphy really knows how to motivate. This team believes that they're pretty good, and they are pretty good. I mean, right now, I think they're the best team in baseball, and I think they're going to be a monster team to face in the postseason. The Cubs have had a hell of a year, and the Cubs are in the rearview mirror. I mean, what are they? They're 7.5 back, and I didn't see that coming, just like we didn't see San Diego catching the Dodgers. But the Cubs are still going to be a tough team in the postseason once their bats get going. But, George, why aren't other small market teams as good as the Milwaukee Brewers? And I know I say this all the time on our show. That's the smallest market in baseball, and it's not close. That market was the first to have 3 million fans when the Braves were playing in the late 50s and won a World Series in 57. But that smallest market is exceptionally well run. They have consistent ownership, consistent decision-making, a plentiful farm system. They're very aggressive. And George, I have no sympathy for some of these other teams that say they can't do it, they can't compete. Well, you can do it, and you can compete. You just have to do it with good decision-making.
So when Bud Selig's family sold to Mark Attanasio, that signaled a little bit of a shift as far as who the Brewers are and what they are. Danny, I've always thought they're good enough to get to the playoffs. They might win a series, but they've never been good enough to get over the hump. But this time around, it feels like they could, especially if the Dodgers don't get everybody back.
I agree, George. Mark Attanasio is a Los Angeles guy. His kids went to Harvard Westlake, which is the absolute best high school on the West Coast for baseball. Jack Flaherty, Lucas Giolito, Max Fried, unbelievable baseball. But and Pete Crow Armstrong too. I mean, he went there. But here's the thing: Attanasio was trying to buy the Dodgers, and I was excited. I had met with him. I really liked him a lot. He had a chance to be really special. I was running the Dodgers at the time, and I looked at it as this guy's going to be a special owner. Instead, the McCourts got the team, and it was a disaster for Dodger fans. It was a disaster for Major League Baseball, and candidly, a disaster for Dan Evans. And my staff, went through a purge. We lost about 190 staff members, and Attanasio instead got the Brewers. He's been innovative, decisive. He's spent money. He's been very aggressive in analytics and in Latin America. And as a result, the Brewers continuously are a really good team on an annual basis. Now, you're right. They haven't had the opportunity to go deep in Antanasio's reign, but they're always competitive. And I think it's a crapshoot in baseball. You got to win 11 to 13 games to win it. And it's not easy. I mean, it's so hard. Look what's happened the last couple of years with some of the best teams in the game getting eliminated. And the Brewers were one of them a couple of years ago. So I think what we see here is a club that's deep, that's varied, that has a lot of weapons, and also knows how to win. This is going to be the team, along with the Mariners. I think the Mariners are sleepy good. I think they're going to be the team you don't want to face in the American League. And I think the Brewers, with a home field advantage, could be a really, really good postseason team.
Okay, you and I are singing out of that same hymnal as far as the teams. Danny, the other thing it seems to me in Milwaukee, and Bud Selig probably doesn't get enough credit for this. He and his daughter faced a really uphill struggle in trying to get that new ballpark I'm trying to think what it's called now. It was Miller Park.
Mid-American.
Yeah, and you take that stadium out of the picture, and not only do the Brewers maybe not exist, but they certainly wouldn't be where they are now.
Good call, George. And it's a great park. I mean, it's so much fun. A real good friend of mine oversaw that project and the design, and he did, for me, a great job. I think it's a wonderful ballpark. And for the fans, what they do is they draw from a multi-state area, and they draw from all over the Midwest. I mean, I have friends here in Iowa who go there, and they go there because A, the ballpark's great. It's a wonderful city, but also the roof, it's a cantilever roof. So as a result, they can always get the game in. So you don't worry about rain. You don't worry about cold. And it's just a real fan-friendly ballpark. Great brats. Oh, my, great brats. Real good tailgating and a very good team. And, George, County Stadium was a fun ballpark. I loved it. But County Stadium was done. I mean, it was time to move on. And they replaced it with an elite venue that's very customer-friendly, and it's also a good ballpark to play baseball in. So they did a hell of a job there. And I think as a result, that franchise, which again, I know I said it earlier, that's the smallest market in baseball. You'd never know it going to a home game there. You would never have any idea.
Really good stuff on your end. County Stadium, by the way, Hank Aaron, as a Milwaukee Brave, played at County Stadium, and a lot of the scenes out of Major League with Bob Uecker are straight out of old County Stadium. And man, I love that place. I know we got to go to the break. Kelly, get ready. Danny Evans, Kelly Holcomb, and young William in the On Deck Circle. This is 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
This is my buddy Stan Harrison from Apple Collision Centers. Recently, you've been talking to me about companies that have a fleet of trucks and they're always in need of repairs.
That's right, George. We understand that nobody likes to deal with the auto body repair process. We try to simplify that at our 3 convenient locations. We work with all major insurance companies. We help to ease the stress of the auto body repair process. We're located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. If you need our services, please stop by and see us.
And how convenient that we have that in the background. Now, seriously, these are good folks. They do really good work. Give them a holler.
I know I got places to be. I need next to you, and you next to me, and you next to me, and you next to me, and you next to me. Hello, I got places to be.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com. Here's Officer Garen Hoskins for the Metro Nashville Police Department.
The Metro Nashville Police Department is on the forefront of policing in this century, and I'm glad I'm a part of it. I'm glad I get to find other good officers, other future good officers. And if you're watching today, or you yourself or someone you happen to know is interested, join MNPD.com. Feel free to reach out to us because we need good officers, and it's a great city to work for.
Has come from multiple different career paths and has always had this dream, and we're very glad to have him. That's just going to be the start of many.
If you want to be part of the Plaster Show advertising family, it's simple. Just email me, plastergeorge@gmail.com. Again, plastergeorge@gmail.com. We will fit your budget and your needs. Two total screw-ups of humongous proportions.
Sports. We're not living in an era where perfection is necessary.
They thought they were a championship contending team.
Here, we told you not to do this. Your sports live here.
On ESPN 94.9.
And the Game Nashville Sports Network. It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Back on this Thursday afternoon, we are at Middle Tennessee Christian School, and thanks to them for the hospitality. The buzz you hear in the background, they've put an artificial turf surface in the last few days, and they're kind of going through the finishing touches. So if you hear a little bit of zzz, that's what it is. Kelly, say hello to Danny Evans and talk a little baseball.
Danny, how you doing, man?
I'm well, Kelly. How you doing?
I'm good. I got a bunch of Kelly questions for you. You know, there's off the wall questions. So when you got so excited about the brats, who has the best brats in Major League Baseball?
Oh, easy. The Brewers. It's not close. Oh my gosh, unbelievable. They have about 6 different types of brats. They have a thing called special sauce in Milwaukee that only is available at the Mid-American Ballpark. And as a result, what they do is you go to the stand, you pick, I mean, I love brats. I love to eat. You don't get this body without working real hard. So you can get a great brat and Kelly top it with either a really hot sauce or a regular sauce, and it's tasty as heck, well priced. And then let's just say beer is at a premium in Milwaukee. You can always have a good time at a Brewers game.
They're the Brewers for a reason now. I've been to that
exactly
city.
Right.
Hey, so tell me this. Y'all were talking about a little bit about the farm system, and I was thinking about this yesterday. I had 2 questions for you I was thinking about yesterday, and I don't know why I was thinking about them yesterday. But how does that work with a major league club, with you being a general manager? Are you in constant contact with farm systems? Because they're kind of like their own entities, but is there somebody in the building other than you that's keeping an eye on that stuff? Are you keeping an eye on that as a general manager? Are you in constant communication with your farm system clubs?
Kelly, great question. That's your artery to the future. Those are your players that formulate your options. And minor league systems are either to play on your big league team or to provide you with assets to trade. So as a result, you protect them, but you also, you populate them as much as you can. You try to have as many prospects as you can because your big league team needs them to win, but your big league team also needs them sometime to trade. So your general manager is always attentive to the minor league, but a good one has a great minor league director or a vice president of player personnel who oversees the minor leagues. And those affiliates, Nashville down, become the most important part of your season because it takes, Kelly, arguably 40 to 55 players to play a baseball season with injuries, with rainouts, with doubleheaders, with all the things that go on over the course of a season. And if you can't supply your big league team with those options, and then you can't supply them with tradable assets, you fail your system. And as a result, you're not as vibrant a major league club. The Brewers have players to trade. It's just like the Dodgers, I would say the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Padres. You can make great trades with a great farm system. If you don't have minor league options, your big league team suffers and you can't replenish it because nobody wants your players.
Wow. So here's the other thing that I was thinking about yesterday. The game has changed in every sport, and scouting has gotten different in every sport. I can remember I was talking about this last night because one of my college coaches were over, but I can remember the NCAA, you had no rules back then. So he was at my high school every day. But like I was thinking, how has scouting changed in Major League Baseball with the internet, with AI, with all this stuff that's going on? Like it's an international game right now, but I'm sure when you were looking at a guy in Japan, you would have to fly over there. But now you can see everything and you can stream his games. So how has that changed for you guys getting players now, Danny?
Well, I think I had something to do with it. I changed the way you scouted and ran a ball club when I took over the Dodgers. I came up with a professional scouting staff. And I did that because I wanted them dialed in from spring training forward to know who's up, who's down, who's playing well in the minor leagues, and have the pulse of an organization. So you have scouts out there now with, I'd say, 20, 25 of the teams on an almost daily basis. It's fun to get copycatted because that means it was a good idea. The good ideas are always done in an auditorium, and you know that, Kelly. But in our sport, the other difference is this. If you do a good job, you can really view every player who plays every day in the minor leagues. You've got video people and analysis people cultivating information and game information, logging it into a mainframe computer. You've got everybody in someone's organization. Literally, you can call it up and have it in 2 to 5 seconds. Well, the great thing about that is I can watch someone's minor league game. I can watch their start. I can watch a reliever. I can watch a guy we're trying to trade for. And over in Japan, Korea, Taiwan, I can watch their games live, and I do. I get up every morning and I try to watch something going on in Japan when their game starts, usually around 3 or 4 o'clock our time. So during the season, I'm watching the 12-team Japanese league live. I'm watching some Korean players live. And then in the evening, in the afternoon, I can watch the big league games and I can watch their entire minor league system. The advantage of that is not only the in-person scouting, but that combined with the video, Kelly, honestly, with a smaller draft now, we have a 20-round draft. We do a better job today scouting as a game than we did 15 years ago. And as a result, look at all the young players you're seeing in the big leagues with the organizations that do it really well.
Oh, that's baseball overload. So my last question here. This is my last question, Daddy. I was looking at the standings, and last year we were talking about the Baltimore Orioles, and
Yeah.
they have just kind of plummeted. And are they? I'm sure they're one of them, but are they the biggest disappointment in Major League Baseball this year? Or is there others?
Well, I think the Braves are right there. I think the Twins are there. I think the Pirates are there. I think Arizona's there. But the Orioles, for me, are the biggest, and it's on them. They didn't add pitching. George and I talked about this in December. They didn't add pitching, and they didn't add to an elite team. I mean, Kelly, they won 100 games last year. And this year, they're going to be lucky to win 75. They're in last place, and they never had a chance, ever. Bad start, never treaded water, and that's on them. They didn't have a whole bunch of injuries. They just didn't really do a very good job adding to their club. And now instead, they have pressure on them because their nucleus is young. And they need to win now because they're going to get almost too expensive because of the number of young players they have. It's a real test for their front office this upcoming offseason because they can't afford to whiff a second year in a row simply because, and this is a nasty thing to say, but their owner inherited their baseball operations staff. And if you fail repeatedly, a new owner who just wrote a huge check is not going to tolerate incompetence at the baseball side. They're good people, they're talented, but they did not do a very good job this offseason.
Danny, always a pleasure. I want to ask you about the Cubs. And we got a question from Jeff a little bit later. I might as well just ask you about them. Do you think they still get in the playoffs? And what is behind some of their struggles here? Obviously, they've struggled a little bit at the plate. Are you concerned about them? Do you think they get in? And do you think they can do any damage now at this point compared to what you thought about them maybe a month or two ago?
They might end up the second best record in the National League and be a wild card team. Billy, their starting pitching has been outstanding since the All-Star game. Their offense has lagged, especially power. Kyle Tucker has struggled. He's got a hand injury from getting hit with a pitch. They just haven't swung the bat real well. I think Matt Shaw's the only guy really hot right now. I think the Cubs are going to be a hell of a postseason team. In fact, the National League is going to be outstanding. I mean, you look at the National League postseason group, it's going to be really good clubs. My guess is the Cubs end up with the best record of the wild card teams, have a real good shot to advance, and will be in a good place because they're deep. I think they catch the ball real well, but Billy, you know what? They just happen to be in a division with the hottest team that baseball's seen in about a 5 or 6 year period, and there's nothing they can do. They're going to win 91 to 94 games, and they're going to have to be a wild card team. So they're going to have to win a couple extra games, but they're very capable of it. I like the Cubs in the postseason. I think they can advance very, very deep.
All right. For Terry McCormick's sake, he's on with us every day. What in the world has happened to these Yankees?
When Judge got hurt, it showed a soft underbelly. It shows you how dependent they are. They made their trades at the deadline, and initially their trades, candidly didn't perform, but they seem like they're doing better now. I still like the Yankees. The Yankees are a good club, but they're so dependent on their best player, and their best player right now is sputtering. They have a really soft schedule, especially at the end. Their last 2 weeks of the season, if you take a look at it, they're playing some of the bottom feeders. Now, that can work against you, but it usually works in your favor. I still like the Yanks. If, they'd be in if they were in today. I thought they'd have a better season, but they didn't. But it's another example when you're really dependent on one or two players. They lose Cole and they lose Judge, and now Judge is not nearly the same player that he was the first half of the season. They need some other guys to pick them up, and they also need a couple of their starting pitchers to elevate. I mean, Max Fried has struggled since the All-Star game. They need some guys to step back in and pitch well. They're still going to get in my opinion, but they're not the club that a lot of us thought they were going to be sometime in mid-May.
Yeah, and they're making a lot of bad defensive plays. Their infield has really hurt them in that Toronto series up there in Canada. Boy, their infield defense just absolutely left them. Danny,
and George, a couple base running blunders, which is always it's a bad sign. To me, it's like penalties in football. It's just you're not completely in sync. It's inexplicable to do some of the things they've done defensively and on the bases.
Danny, we're going to do this. We'll open up the phone lines now and take a segment of phone calls for Danny after we come out of the break. You can join us at 615-553-0933. Again, 615-553-0933. Any chat stuff?
We do have a couple chat questions. Keep them rolling. It's open on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. You can chime in there on YouTube, of course, just to the right of the screen. If you're on Twitter and Facebook, you can simply swipe up and fire your questions away. So we'd love to hear from you.
We're in Murfreesboro, where there's a bug that I would love to kill right now, but I'll wait till the break. This is 94.9 The Fan.
Now, here's your latest Fox 17 Code Red weather report.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobus. Our forecast this afternoon, high temperatures in the low 90s. Heat and humidity make us feel a few degrees hotter, and there'll be isolated showers and thunderstorms that carry us afternoon into this evening.
Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network. Start your engines. Nashville's biggest racing weekend is back. It's the Porchetta Bourbon Music City Grand Prix, August 30th and 31st at Nashville Super Speedway. The speed, the sound, the stars of open wheel racing are all going full throttle, and you can catch every second of the action right here on 102.5 The Game. Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Racing takes over Music City. Don't miss a lap. Your sports live here on 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Hey guys, it's Big Joe from my friends over at Busy Bee. It's August. That means it's back to school time. Listen, I'm a member of the Beehive Club. You should be too. Buy one for your family and gift one free Beehive membership to a teacher, coach, faculty of their choice. Listen, this is way better than a red apple. Just go to busybhvac.com. busybhvac.com. Become a member. You'll love it.
Busy Bee, yeah, Busy Bee. Call 775-7833.
This summer, the Legends of the West invite you to the Buffaloville Center of the West in Cody, Wyoming. 5 museums come alive with timeless Western art, heroic tales, and native cultures. Experience live birds of prey, crackling chuckwagon dinners, and behind-the-scenes adventures. Just 50 miles from Yellowstone's East Gate, our doors open wide to explorers young and old. One ticket grants you 2 days, enough time to let curiosity lead the way. Visit centerofthewest.org.
Every child deserves to start the school year with confidence. For over 5,000 kids in Middle Tennessee, that's not always possible. A donation of just $20 provides a new pair of athletic shoes, giving a child one less thing to worry about. That's Souls for the 615, brought to you by Cromwell Media and Souls for Souls. We've teamed up to make sure every child in our community steps into the year ready, and we need your help. Head to thegamenashville.com/shoes and donate today, because every child deserves to walk into school with pride.
Extraordinary homes deserve remarkable appliances. At Electronic Express, we bring the best luxury appliance brands together, all in one place. Whether you need a sleek refrigerator, a state-of-the-art range, or a premium dishwasher, our expert team is here to help you make your home extraordinary. With fast delivery and professional installation, experience luxury made easy at Electronic Express and create a home that truly inspires.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne, all around the world on the Game Nashville app. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network, ESPN 94.9, The Fan.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Coming up, we're talking more baseball with Danny Evans, taking your comments, your questions in the chat, also taking phone calls as well. But first, stat of the day. We got a baseball question. It's brought to you by Apple Collision Centers. You can find them at Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. Give them a call, 615-754-9800, or log on to their website. That's applecollisioncenters.com. All right, and look at this. We're going Dodgers today. The Dodgers were swept in both series this year by the Angels and the Brewers, 0-6 against both teams. Only one other defending champ has suffered that fate. Can you name them?
Oh, good Lord. Are you kidding?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Hey, Danny.
No chance.
No shot at that one. Good gracious.
When Danny doesn't have a shot,
when Danny
nobody
says,
does.
Yeah, I mean, give me a flipping break.
No shot.
I cleaned that.
Some of the parts. Can I take a flyer on it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, give it a shot.
The Giants.
Show us the San Francisco Giants.
It is the Marlins back in 1998.
You know, you think about it because, Danny, they sold off everything.
No question. Yeah, that was like a Dollar General franchise the following year. I mean, it was really hellacious what they did. And looking right in that photo, every one of those guys were gone 2 years later.
Josh Beckett was the big reason that they won. Had a great postseason.
Josh Beckett.
Later,
George, remember when he shattered the window of the car that was driving behind home plate because he was aggravated about the promotion moving behind him. So he threw a fastball to the on-deck circle and it exploded the rear window of a car.
It was straight out of that scene of Bull Durham.
No question.
Where he hits the mascot on purpose.
Absolutely. It was awesome.
You know,
I'm sure the sponsor didn't like it, but boy, that was pretty good command of a fastball right there.
If anybody out there has not seen Major League One and Major League Two, first of all, shame on you. Yeah. Secondly, watch it. AMC
Major League is the best.
Oh, both of them are. And when you see Bob Uecker and you see that all of that was ad-libbed, what an incredible talent he was. Okay, we ready for phone calls, Danny?
Absolutely. Let's go.
Mr. Cincinnati Reds, Eric in Nashville is on line one. Eric, say hello to Danny.
George, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, and Danny is certainly always a pleasure to talk to you.
What's up, Eric? You're feeling good. You're only a game back in the wild card.
Well, I'm feeling pretty good. There's two things I want to talk to you about. First, I do want to talk about my Reds, and they are 6 games over 500, but unfortunately, we started a 3-game series at home against the Brewers, and they have been our kryptonite. We played them, I think, on a few times this year, but I know they've got a winning record against us. And I think last year there was something like 10-3 or 11-3 against us. They dominated us. I don't even think we beat them a single game at home. That's what worries me about this team. They may have been the last team that swept this, but they have dominated us. And to tell you how good the Brewers are, I didn't know if you knew this, and if you didn't, I'm pretty sure you did. I saw that the other day, of course, when they beat the Pirates 14-0. They were talking about the fact that against Paul Skeens, the Brewers have scored more than 5.5 runs a game against Skeens. But Skeens against everybody else in the National League, his ERA is under 2. So that tells you how good this team is. But the other thing, Danny, I wanted to talk to you about is the Dodgers. Y'all kind of mentioned it, and just a couple of things. First of all, one of the things, of course, I heard before the season started from people like Bill Plaschke and other people, I was hearing stuff like, oh, the Dodgers are going to have one of the greatest records of all time this year. They were going to just dominate the league. I heard people saying they were going to win 125, 130 games. And, of course, now if they lose about 10, 11 more games, they won't even win 100. I'm not going to give up. I still think they've got a shot to repeat. But the thing is, it's just so wild that people don't take into account for injuries and all that other stuff. But the main question I had was about Shohei Ohtani. And here's the thing. And, guys, I don't know if it's just with interpretive with language or just whatever's going on with him, but you hate to hear of all the stuff that he's had to deal with, the whole thing with the gambling stuff and his agent. Then, of course, there was a situation last year where it was controversy about, I think he had a home run, wanted the ball back. There's controversy about the fans felt pressure to give him the ball back. And now this latest deal with a real estate agent where he's getting sued now. And I don't know if it has to do with his language or just whatever. He's probably the most popular player in baseball, but he's having to deal with all this stuff. And Dan, I just wanted to get your thoughts on that, about how hopefully in the future that maybe stuff like this probably won't be able to happen to him. Guys, y'all take care and we'll talk again soon.
Eric, thank you.
Hey, Eric. First of all, I think your Reds are probably playing Milwaukee at the right time. They're going to lose eventually. You got to get them at some point. You may as well get them when they're due to lose. Your team just got better. Your pitching's better. Hunter Green's back. I actually think the Reds are a sleeper team to get into the wild card. They're playing really well. When it comes to Ohtani, I'm gonna go there. I've known Shohei since he was literally coming out of high school. The character is elite, absolutely elite. He's who you want him to be. People get around people, and sometimes they make bad decisions for the player. Kelly's seen that. There's some terrific human beings that play football, baseball, hockey, basketball that have people behind them making decisions that backfire. And ultimately, the finger's pointed at the human being, but their judgment was not picking the right person. All the stuff about the gambling, that was completely his interpreter. I was smoked on that. I didn't see that coming, and I knew his interpreter really well. When it comes to the real estate deal, everything I read, and I read it hard, looks to me like people on the periphery trying to get the most for it. And we don't know everything about the deal because the suit was filed by the filing party. We don't know what's going on. I'll say one thing. I wish all of my friends were as good a person as Ohtani, because Ohtani is one hell of a good man. And he gets publicized a lot, so we know a little bit more about him. But man, his character, Eric, nothing to worry about. He's just had a couple things go bad, but neither one of them, the finger was pointed at him. So that's where I'm going to sit. I'm not going to go on the fence on that one at all.
Okay.
Kelly, I think we got to keep. I think we got to keep frozen. I think I'm going to screen capture this baby, and I can have fun with this shot for years. And I think it's a very interesting shot. He's leaning into the question. Look at him.
He is leaning into the question. Yeah, and they have totally frozen on us here. They have bad internet connection over there. So Billy had to put it on his phone. I think he had a hot spot on his phone, which was making it better because I couldn't even hear you earlier.
Okay. Well, Kelly, I see a couple questions in the chat. Can I just answer them in the chat?
Absolutely.
There's a question in here from Inquisitive, which, by the way, is, a great handle. That's awesome. It gives you, it gives you the reason to ask any question you want, right? And Inquisitive asks, how many years do most MLB pitchers able to play? Well, we're able to play longer now than we did 10 years ago, just because of the technology and I would say the strides we've made medically to be able to repair pitchers and get them healthy again and put them back on the mound. Take a look at guys like Kershaw, like, very honestly, Verlander, Garrett Cole. There's a lot of guys who are pitching in their late 30s, early 40s and doing a really good job. Charlie Morton, former Brave. I do think that we do a better job because we baby him a little bit, which I don't like. But because we baby him, we can prolong a guy's career if he has a great trainer, if he has a great team physician. But Kelly, he also has a question, which I just have to have fun with. And he asks, could most pitchers also make it as a quarterback? And, if we think about it, I mean, they're very similar, because in baseball, you're 60 feet away from a batter hitting a ball back at you at 95 to 110 miles an hour with no protection, which nobody talks about. In football, those guys are getting crushed. What's really interesting is the number of really good baseball players who were former quarterbacks. And, I think about Ryan McMahon. I think about Tom Brady was a really good third baseman in high school. There's a lot of guys, Todd Helton, who was a really good football player. And I think that position in particular, maybe wide receiver, Kelly, tends to allow for transition to play both sports. But I think the skills to be a pitcher and the skills to be an elite quarterback are somewhat similar, but also differ in many distinct ways.
I agree.
Okay, I think we go Max in Murfreesboro next. Max, you're on 94.9 The Fan. Max, if you're there, go ahead.
Not getting Max.
Okay, let's try Mike in Melrose. Mike, how you doing today?
Not getting anything.
Watching him. You hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. Max Scherzer made $58 million last year, and that was thanks to my Rangers and Washington having to pay him all that money. He actually pitched good today, but I wouldn't consider him a $58 million pitcher. But I think he's getting that for the next 7 or 8 years. I know Washington's paying him a whole lot.
I think that's some deferrals from his previous deal. There's two things you pay for in baseball, Mike. You pay for power and you pay for starting pitching. And it's supply and demand. And, Kelly, I mean, you see it in your game. The great football players sometimes have trouble getting a contract, but not the quarterbacks. The quarterback, that's the guy you need to win. And if you don't have him, you're not going to win. And they'll pay for the great defensive back. They'll pay for the offensive lineman to keep them off the quarterback. But the skill positions in baseball are most decidedly the power guys and the arms. And because the supply and demand is what it is, I've been caught in that hamster wheel. If you want to win, you got to have an elite starter. And, it's pay for them or you watch TV. So I'm a big fan of paying for a good bet. I mean, here's Scherzer. I thought he threw really well Monday night. And I think, Scherzer's had a great career. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. When he's healthy, he's a terrific guy.
And
yeah, he pitched good. He pitched good today. A quick request for Plaster, because I believe he wrote the Reds off about 2 weeks ago, and I'm pretty sure he probably wrote the Guardians off. But maybe he could go ahead and write my Rangers off, and maybe they'll turn things around. Because they did blow another game yesterday. Anyway, help me out, George.
Yeah, a little bullpen help and score some runs, Mike. I'm all with you. Take care.
Hey, George.
Yeah.
The Guardians have won 21 of the last 30 games. They're a game back of the wild card. And I didn't see that coming after they sold off and lost their 2 relievers to the gambling situation. I didn't see that coming. And that's an indication of how good Stephen Vogt is as a manager. He didn't allow them to fall apart. They're right back in the race. Very few people in baseball saw them coming back into the race a month ago. No chance.
Max in Murfreesboro, welcome.
Hey, guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, Good to have you with us.
Hey, so I want to get your take on what the hell has happened to the San Francisco Giants. I mean, ever since that Rafael Devers trade, they've been terrible. And I want to know, is it too early to say that they are the clear-cut losers of that Devers trade? What do you think, Danny?
Well, they thought they were when they made the deal. I'm not a Devers fan at all. He's just there's an attitude question there. There's a commitment question. His defense is not very good. He's really a DH at a very young age. I applaud what the Red Sox did. They look at where the Red Sox are without him. They're surging. They're a wild card team. The Giants, I think, overachieved in the first month and a half. They'll be lucky to finish 500 on the season. I think they thought they were a better club than they were. It's not a matter of injuries. They're just not the same quality as the Padres and the Dodgers and the rest of the National League. And I think Buster Posey found out this year that being a general manager is a hell of a challenging situation. And it'll be interesting to see what they do moving forward. But they certainly are a huge disappointment in 2025.
Now, Danny, would you say that they are in a position where they're primed for a rebuild, or keep going with what they got for the coming years?
I don't know their minor league system exquisitely well, but I will say this, they've got a lot of commitments in the future, so they're going to have to be real adept at manipulating some salaries. But they also have two teams ahead of them in the Padres and the Dodgers that are elite franchises that are going to be real good. So if you're that club, now guys, let's just be honest, you're playing for the wild card every year. And the wild card's a crapshoot. You might not even get a home game. So the return on being a wild card participant is nowhere near what it is winning a division title, where you know you're going to host 2, 3, 4 games, make 50 to 75 million to be able to pay for a roster. The Giants are in a tough spot. It'll be interesting to see what they do.
Okay, last call is Tony, and I don't know if this is the same Tony or not. Let's find out. Tony, you there?
Here, George, I got knocked off, couldn't get through, and finally persistence got me through. And I'm not calling you from Knowlesville today. I'm actually up in eastern Kentucky area where the great Earl Combs once played, and he was a famous member. Danny, you probably remember of the famous Gas House gang. I think not the famous Gas House, but the famous Yankees, Murderers Row. Isn't that right?
He was on the Bronx Bombers, and he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but that's where I'm calling from, George. And Danny, let me tell you how hot the Milwaukee Brewers are. At the end of George's show each day, he goes out and gives you the picks. He used to call it picks of the people. And generally when he picks your team, it's a kiss of death. So the other day, when Eric talked about it earlier, when he picked the Brewers to beat the Skeens, I said, all right, there's a game the Cubs can gain on them. And you know what? The Brewers went out and they backed up George's pick. So that's how hot they are.
Yeah, you know what? When Skeens faced them the other day, I thought that was going to be the day that the streak ended. I thought it was going to be the day they came back to reality, and instead they knocked him out. And that's the best pitcher in baseball.
I watched it. It was unbelievable. And as I told a friend of mine, I said the Brewers are so hot they're allowed to they have to stay away from any and all ice cream factories because everything in there will melt if they walk by it. So seriously, talking about the Cubs, I just with this 5-game, we've talked about it a couple of weeks now, this 5-game series is going to be so pivotal. And if the Cubs can win that series, I think it puts them back in the real thick. It's really going to make the Central a fun race to watch, but they've got to win some of those games. It's going to be a make or break series if they when they go in there and play that. I think it starts Monday, 5 games in 4 days.
right.
So I'm looking forward to that. If they are going to be regulated to the second place in the division, Danny, I'm just afraid they just got to keep hold on the top wild card spot. I'm just afraid that if they lose that series, that it is going to push them down to, even second or third, I'm going to say, in the wild card. Is that possible?
It is. Sure it is. And you know what? The National League is so good. Just look at the teams involved. You got the Phillies, the Mets, the Brewers, the Cubs, the Dodgers, the Padres. In all 6 cases, those are really good clubs. One of them's going to win the division. The other one's going to get into the wild card. I think you're going to have a great National League playoff situation. But I think in the Cubs situation, you're going to want home field advantage. And more importantly, since you don't know who you're going to play, you got to come in healthy and hot. And I wanted to talk about one thing. Earl Combs, get this, George, career stat line. I just looked it up. 325, 397, 462. That is monstrous. This guy hit 356 and didn't get a single vote in the MVP award because he had some Gehrig guy and some Ruth guy on the same.
Ruth guy. That's really something, isn't it? Murderer's Row. Wow. That's phenomenal. I'm going to ask you this, and I'm going to listen. I'll hang up and listen. I'll catch the show when I get back home. But they called up their top prospect last night, maybe 2 nights ago. He's replacing, I can't recall the outfielder's name that went down with an injury on the 10-day. But do you know what do you know about this? Their top prospect they've called up.
Admittedly, I never liked Fib. I don't know enough about the guy to really talk a lot about him. I know his stats. I have not seen him play, and he's right here in my backyard in Des Moines, but I don't have a good vibe on him. So I wish I could tell you, but I just don't like, I like to be transparent. I haven't seen enough of him to talk about him.
I appreciate every bit of it. Always great talking to you. And you know what? Let's just see how this is. It's going to be fun to see what this turns out. I hope my talk with you next Thursday is going to be a fun talk to where I'm going to say, hey, guess what? We're back in the thick of things. We're just 2 games out. We'll see. It's going to be fun, guys. See ya.
That's part of the series. They hate each other, just like the Padres and the Dodgers. That always makes for entertaining TV and streaming for us.
That is true. I just hope the Brewers are peaking out too early. That's just what I'm kind of hoping for as far as being a Cubs fan. So, but like I say, it's going to be fun. See you guys. Take care, George. See y'all.
See you, Tony. Good to hear from you. Danny, thank you as always. Good stuff.
Thanks so much, guys. You guys have a good weekend. George, who do you like in the Dodger-Padres series?
The Dodgers, only because it's at home.
Okay. The pitching matchups are great, and they got Kershaw in the first game. So here we go. Just put on, a friend of mine used to always say, put on your seatbelt, grab your popcorn, and hope nobody gets hurt.
Yeah, and I'll give you an over-under of 1, maybe 1.5 little skirmishes in this series.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no question. I think we're going to have a little warning before the first game, the home plate umpire. And I think, Kelly, when they do that, what they're basically saying is don't even think about it. And because if you get a warning before the game, anybody who comes inside and hits somebody, the manager and the starting pitcher are sitting outside watching the game. That is not where you want to be in a series like that.
Wow. Nice. I like it.
Have a good weekend, guys.
You too, Danny.
See ya.
Okay, after the break, we'll get Kelly's thoughts on Cam Ward 2.0. In other words, the start tomorrow night against the Atlanta Falcons down at Mercedes-Benz. This is 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
A go-kart from Mikey's Motors is the perfect way to get around this summer. Whether you're going to the park, the pool, or the playground, do it in a brand new golf cart from Mikey's Motors, Franklin and Murfreesboro.
Summertime fun in Tennessee. That's what we sell at Mikey's Motors. Come see how we roll.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
Convenience and value, two words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA. One source, one company.
If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact the folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400. Age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400.
Tonight, the Nashville Sounds continue their 6-game series in Durham. Pre-game at 5:20.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan and the Game Nashville app. It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
We are back in Murfreesboro at Middle Tennessee Christian. We do this every year courtesy of our buddy Josh Houston and Associates. You hear their commercials beginning in August and running through the high school football season. So, Kelly, we're a week away from the regular season starting in high school, but the Titans have preseason game number 2 tomorrow in Atlanta against the Falcons. We're told that Cam Ward's going to go 2 series. I'll admit, I don't get it, but for you, is that a big deal?
Really, it's not a big deal, George. I just think he needs to build off last week. He needs to start gaining some confidence, some more confidence of being on the field. It's not really a big deal to me. I'm with you, though. Preseason's getting to be kind of a joke. It seems like I talk about it every day. It's the new NIL for me. But in professional football, preseason is becoming a joke because nobody plays. And then when they come to the season, guys are not ready to play. They haven't played. Now the practices are different, obviously. When you practice against another team, it's heated and you get a lot of good work in that stuff. But like a lot of times when you after the preseason comes and then the first game comes, some of those guys are they're rusty, it looks like. And I know you take an Aaron Rodgers, for example. I mean, the guy's played in the NFL for 20 years, for 2 decades. So what is the need? But he needs to get right with his receivers, like in real time against people in the stands and the lights on, the cameras on. Get some timing down with those guys. So I don't like it, but that's where we are in the National Football League. And I think as a rookie, he needs more. I think he needs some more time on the field too, but then you always take every time he's out there during the preseason, it's just like the Trent Green deal you brought up earlier. You don't want him to get hurt because he is the guy that you brought in. He's the number 1 pick, and that's who you want to be your franchise guy. So you got to see what he can do. I think he's a durable guy. I don't think you'd have to worry about that, but coaches do worry about that. And a lot of times they coach scared, George, which I don't like.
So give people a little bit of what you think he's being told by Brian Callahan and the offensive coaches about, okay, you got these things done in the second series. Now in game 2, we want you to do XYZ. What is XYZ?
That's a good question. I think probably his execution of the huddle, which I thought was good the other night. You want to stay up on top of that. You've just got to remind young guys too, because in the National Football League, it's the same thing in college. You get used to it at these big colleges as well, but that play clock ticks down a lot of times. So you've got to be aware of that. And sometimes you get into a game and you're not aware of it. And sometimes it went out on me. We had penalties on that. That's some of the things that Danny was talking about. You kind of kill yourself with things like that. So as a coach, you still need to remind him of the little things like the play clock, like your feet, being in the huddle, getting the play in as fast as you can and getting to the line where you can see the defense. I think they probably talked about reading the defense better. That cover 2 deal that I talked about the other night, he didn't recognize that. And when you've got cover 2 and you've got a forced outside guy and then you got an inside guy coming, that corner is he's going to man that guy up and try to jam him at the line of scrimmage to help his safety. And then he's looking back at him and that ball should have been picked off. So you got to take a learning experience from that and say, hey, if we got nobody going to the flat with a three receiver side over there with a backer, a tight end or something, you cannot throw that ball because it's going to get picked. So just things like that, I think, and just him being out there, George, every time you play, experience is the biggest thing for a player, for anything in life. You got to actually go do it. And I think just him playing, I wish he would play more, but just him going and playing, he's gaining experience.
Kelly, for kind of dumb this down for some of us, so he goes to the line of scrimmage and you want him to be able to know that it's cover 2.
Yes.
What are the keys to see that should tell him that?
Well, I mean, film work watches that, but you got to look at the middle of the field. That's what every time you go to the line of scrimmage, George, you got to remember obviously what you're doing, which should become second nature from studying, from film work, from all the stuff that you've done in practice. Then you've got to get your focus on the defense. You got to think about the protection. Well, is this a protection that I'm good with? I've got to go up and if the Mike is not the guy that because the O-line used to do that for us guys when we'd go up to the line of scrimmage, it was 4 down and the line had the mic or they had the wheel or they had the Sam. It just depended on the protection that we had. So you got to worry about the protection. And then if there's something wrong with it, then you've got to move the mic or you got to move the protection or you got to go to a totally different protection. Then after that, and you know that you're okay and everything looks fine, then you got to get your eyes to the middle of the field. If there's a middle of the field high safety, that's what I'm going with. If there's a middle of the field, if it's middle of the field open, which means 2 safeties, then that's what I'm going with. And a lot of times they have these concepts where if it's middle of the field closed, which means 1 safety, you're working the left side of the field. If it's middle of the field open, which means quarters coverage or cover 2, you're going to the right side of the field. So, a lot of times that, but sometimes they disguise. Like when you're playing a Peyton Manning, I mean, the New England Patriots used to watch the clock because Peyton watched the clock and he utilized that. They would watch the clock and they would not move until it got to 3 or 2 seconds on the play clock. And then sometimes that would confuse Peyton. So there's a lot of stuff going through a young guy's mind, even old guys. There's a lot of stuff that you have to think about. It's not a dumb guy sport, man. You, as a quarterback, you have to know what everybody on your side's doing, and then you have to figure out and try to find out and diagnose what the defense is doing to you. And if you got problems, if you got a problem, you got to fix it at the line of scrimmage, all in 45 seconds.
Kelly, we talked about the potential interception, the near interception that he had on the sideline there. How do you coach up a young quarterback after a play like that? I'm sure I'm not saying Callahan exploded on him or because that wasn't, he dropped it. But, I was watching something on Twitter, some of Cam Ward's film, and this analyst described him as having arm arrogance. He's very confident and he thinks he can fit it in certain areas and certain holes. And is that a play that you almost say, hey, good job. I see what you were doing, but hey, you can't make every throw.
Yeah, that was not a good job, and I don't see what he was doing right there because here's the deal: when you got 2 safeties, the corner's responsibility is to jam you at the line of scrimmage and make it hard for you to get off so you can help your safety, because the safety's got half the field, the other safety's got the other half, and then the linebackers drop. They're trying to get deep. We used to call it a Tampa 2 because that. The middle linebacker, he would just run down the middle of the field. That makes it hard to get those throws in. So if you don't have a verse cover 2, the corner has he's the flat defender. So if you don't have a third guy going over there because they ran a sail route by number 2, which was the tight end or the inside receiver, and a sail route's just an inside corner where you're kind of breaking it out. You're not taking it high. So when you don't have a third guy over there manipulating that corner, what he's going to do is he's going to jam you. He's done his job. Then he looks to the inside to try to trap things from coming from the inside, and that's what happened. And then when you try to throw that ball in there, man, that's a tough deal, especially if you got nobody over there holding the corner. Now, if you got somebody holding the corner, now you got the safety in a bind because you got 2 guys running at it. Now, which one does he take? You can get that ball in there. So that's stuff that they studied on film. But he does have a little arm arrogance. There's a lot of guys that have that. You have to have confidence when you're throwing the football, and he threw that thing sidearm. I think in the National Football League, you have to be able to throw from different angles, and he can do that. But he does have a little arm arrogance, but hey, that's going to help him in the long run.
Randy on YouTube asks, George, is this the hottest show you've ever done?
Well, let's just say that from the location that Billy wanted me at, yes, it was. We had a little discussion during the break, and I said, Self, you're going in the shade. Quite a bit cooler right now, although my phone, I noticed, has
overheated.
Yes. iPhone needs to cool down. So do I. This is 94.9, The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2025 season. Create a summer of memories at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, and more. Tickets are on sale now.
Hello, I got faces to read. Like me next to you, and you next to me, and you next to me, and you next to me, and you next to me. Hello, I got faces to read.
Here's Officer Garen Hoskins for the Metro Nashville Police Department.
the Metro Nashville Police Department is on the forefront of policing in this century, and I'm glad I'm a part of it. I'm glad I get to find other good officers, other future good officers. And if you're watching today, or you yourself or someone you happen to know is interested, join MNPD.com. Feel free to reach out to us because we need good officers, and it's a great city to work for.
Sports Network. It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
The wings reflect the stars that guide.
Hey, we welcome you back. We are at Middle Tennessee Christian in Murfreesboro. Kelly, of course, is lounging at his homestead where it's 72 degrees and no clouds in the sky.
Correct.
It's a little warmer out here.
That's correct, George. I am. I feel good right now.
Yeah, several people have commented on that. We're joined at our broadcast site by Middle Tennessee Christian head football coach Christian Moore. Thank you for being with us. How you doing? Christian Peterson. Sorry about that. I went Christian Moore from the California Angels. That is awful. Good Lord, I had baseball on the brain. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
So tell me about this behind you. This is cool stuff.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're so excited. It's going to change our program. Huge shout out to SRM for making this project a reality. It's going to be great for football, for soccer, for all of our youth programs, and we're just going to be able to use it pretty much year round now, and it's going to be awesome.
What's the percentage, let's say in the Nashville, Middle Tennessee area, what's the percentage of schools now that have this?
I would say the majority. On our schedule, we're playing 9 games. I think we're going to play 2 games on turf. 2 games on grass. So pretty much now we go on the road. More games than not are going to be on turf, and it's going to be a huge advantage being able to practice on it. For a lot of it, the only time we'd play on turf was when we were playing a game against somebody else, and so the ability to be able to practice on grass or on turf is going to be huge for us.
By the way, when Christian Moore hits it big, and he might with the Angels, just remember this.
I got you.
You're a cousin of his. So talk to me about what a difference a year makes. 2 seasons ago, you're a state title winner. A year ago, not that kind of stuff. Did you learn some things about trying to defend that you can't know unless you go through it?
Absolutely. I think last year's a perfect example of why it's so hard to repeat. And for us, it was unique. We graduated a ton of seniors, replaced them with a bunch of freshmen. And so we were babies, but even just your off season is completely different. You're in January, February, and you're trying to prepare for the next season. And, you're still you got to go to this event. You got to go to this event. And it's really hard, for a high school kid to be able to be, I got to start getting ready for the next season when you're going to the Predator game. And it's all great events, and the kids deserve it and they earn it. And it's awesome. But it definitely, you have to learn how to manage that. And I think I have to do a better job of it. And I think, you kind of go in blind that first time.
Even if you call people, and I know you did, you talk to people that have done this before, is that pretty much? Okay, Michael Jordan at the peak of his career led the Bulls to 2 different three-peats. After going through this, do you tend to appreciate that even more?
Absolutely. I mean, obviously the physical greatness, all that stuff, but it's the mental grind. You're going all the way through. You're playing longer than 95% of your classification. And then you're trying to turn the page basically right away. And now normally you're able to take that month and a half and kind of reset and get ready. And now when you play to the state championship game, like you really have like 2 weeks of school, then you're on Christmas break, and then you're going. And so it's just that mental grind and again learning how to deal